Most people train deadlifts, but very few people train them on one leg, and that's a big mistake. The kettlebell single leg deadlift isn't just a balance trick. It's a key movement for building strength, stability, and longevity. And whether you just want to stay strong and injury-free as you age, or improve athletic performance in whatever sport you play, this movement is a game changer. In this video, I'm going to teach you the correct technique for the single leg deadlift, how to fix the two most common mistakes with the single leg deadlift, and give you some ideas of where this might fit into your training program. So apologies for sounding like a monster in this video. I have a flu at the moment, but it was really important for me to stay consistent with the channel and make this video for you, so please understand that I'm not going to sound so great today. So before we get into the single leg deadlift itself, let's talk about exactly what this movement is, and just as importantly, what it is not. The single leg deadlift is a hip hinge, which means we are taking the hips and we're sliding them backwards, right? This is all deadlifts. This is your kettlebell swing. This is one of the most powerful moves humans can make. It is not just bending forward. So the first progression to work up to the single leg deadlift is the kickstand single leg deadlift. This is where you're going to use your back foot to help you balance, and it's really going to help you dial in that hip hinge on the front side. So the first thing we're going to talk about is foot position. So we're going to start with the feet together, rotate one out to 90 degrees, rotate it out again, and then turn it in a little bit. And this is your foot position for the kickstand single leg deadlift. Now, once you've set that foot position, you're going to take one hand, put it right on your hip bone, and your job is to squeeze this, right? So I'm going to push the hips back, keep the shins vertical, and I want to feel a squeeze here while keeping my back as straight as possible. The biggest mistake most people are going to make here is bending forward, but not sitting back with the hips, right? If you just bend forward, you're not going to be getting into the hamstring, you're not going to be getting into the glute. So it's crucial that when you bend forward, it is only in service of the hips going backwards. And this is the kickstand deadlift. This is a great exercise in and of itself, and a fantastic progression to working up to the full single leg deadlift. So now we come to the single leg deadlift itself. When you first learn this exercise, I suggest using something to help you balance. I'm going to use the wall behind. This is a great way to dial in the movement without having to deal with the balance challenge yet. And whatever you're going to use to balance, you're going to want to have it on the side of the leg that is lifting. So in my case, it's going to be the left leg, and I'm going to use the wall. And we're going to lift the back leg, keeping the toes pointed down, the heel pointed up, hinge back, and we're going to lean forward. Okay, and this is the single leg deadlift without weight. This is the bodyweight version with the balance issue being taken care of. And the reason the single leg deadlift is such a powerful movement for both athletes and just regular people who want to stay strong is that just like in running and walking, one hip is in flexion and the other is in extension, giving this a fantastic crossover to a wide variety of activities. Okay, so now we come to the single leg deadlift itself. We're going to load it with a kettlebell, and we're going to load it on the back side. So if I'm lifting my left leg, I'm going to hold the kettlebell in my left hand, right? And essentially, it's exactly the same version we did against the wall, only now we're doing it freestanding. So hinge back, lift the back leg, keep the hips square, and drive up. So the first mistake most people are going to make with this lift is letting this hip start to lift out to the side, right, to get out of position. Easiest way to address this is by putting the kettlebell down on every single rep. And if you think about it, that makes sense, right? The definition of a deadlift when we're talking about a barbell is we're lifting from a dead start. We're lifting from the floor up. So, gonna lower the bell down to the floor, reset the hips, find that hip hinge if I've lost it a little bit, and then drive forward. Put the foot down, make sure the hips are in position, drop down, find the hip hinge, square the hips, and drive up. Now this is different to the way you may have seen the single leg deadlift taught in the past, where people just sort of hang out in this range. They don't put the kettlebell all the way to the floor. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this version of the exercise, but what you will notice is over the course of a set, as you go deeper into the reps, the quality does tend to go down. Whereas when you put the kettlebell down on the floor and you spend a few seconds cinching everything back in, every single rep is going to be the highest quality. And remember, this is a deadlift, right? A single leg deadlift. And just like the barbell deadlift, it's supposed to be a lift from a dead start. When you put the kettlebell down on the floor, it really gives you an opportunity to find that hip hinge, to get your hips in position, and then explode forward using your hamstring and glutes. And then when you're gonna put the kettlebell back down, watch my feet. We're gonna rotate that heel out a little bit, and we're gonna try and make sure that we can feel the inner thighs touching as we lower back down. Then we know there that the hips are lined up. So square your hips, find the hip hinge, drive forward, rotate the back foot in so you feel the inner thighs come together and touch. Maintain that as you lower the kettlebell back to the start position, reset, and repeat. If your program requires you to do 8 repetitions, don't think of doing 8 reps. Think about doing 1 perfect rep 8 times. So the next most common mistake is rounding the back. Okay, this is most easily fixed by addressing your eye line. Simply just look forward at a spot on the floor 8 to 10 feet in front of you and think about keeping your back long. And in almost all cases, that will fix the issue. For the whole single leg deadlift, in the top position, every time we're here, we're gonna rotate that back foot in till we feel the inner thighs touching. Once the kettlebell's on the bottom, we're gonna take advantage of this position of stability to reset the hips, sit back deeper into that hinge, and then we're gonna drive forward using the hamstring and glute. Put the foot down. Rotate it, the heel out, inner thighs together, lower down slow, maintaining that connection. Rotate, reset the hips, sit back, drive the hips forward and down. And that's the single leg deadlift. So where would you fit this into your training program? You have a couple of options. One, if you are currently doing barbell deadlifting, doing barbell deadlifting 1 day a week and single leg deadlifting on another day of the week. If you are someone who's only hitting deadlifts 1 day a week, you can do 6 to 8 weeks of barbell deadlift and then 6 to 8 weeks of single leg deadlift and just cycle between the two. This is also a great movement to throw in as a warm-up with lighter weights. It just really helps get the body dialed in for whatever else you're going to be doing in your workout. If this exercise is already something you're doing, or if you're going to put it in your program, please leave a comment, leave a question, share your own experience. We can all benefit from hearing what you have to offer. And if you liked this video and found the information useful, please hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. See you in the next video.